Everyone's enters here, and well, this is kind of just a little rambling video. Talk about some things that have come up over the last week that I just want to talk about that put me in a good mood overall. I figured a little bit of positivity is a good thing, and I figured doing a video that's not an unboxing is another good thing. So we're gonna do that. So let's start off with a story that has me very excited, uh, and this is something that was announced a few days ago, and people have been kind of a buzz about it just because it's such a very monumental event, and that is the possibility that there is a ninth planet in our solar system. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Xandros, there's already 9 planets in the solar system. Pluto was the ninth planet. Well, yes, growing up, many of us had that same mindset that Pluto was a planet, and it was the ninth planet in our solar system. But, of course, several years ago, we all know that the planet was demoted from planet to dwarf planet, so it no longer counts as one of the main planets in our solar system, but one of the planet-sized bodies that doesn't fit the definition anymore. So we have technically 8 planets in our solar system, but people still want to count Pluto, and I get that. But what's really entertaining is the thought that right now, scientists are looking at the sky, and over the next 5 years are hoping to discover the existence of a true ninth planet, something that is of the correct size to be categorized as a planet in our solar system. Now, from what I've read, uh, the assumption is that this is an ice giant, that it is roughly 10 times the mass of Earth and about 2 to 4 times bigger than Earth. So that's going to be a moderate size. It's still smaller than Neptune, but still an ice giant. It's still, really good size. Um, that it has a eccentric orbit around the sun. So it's so out there that it takes, from their calculations, approximately 10 to 20,000 years to make one complete orbit around the sun. Now, mind you, this is also a hypothesis. This isn't proven yet. This is just the calculations they're going with right now for what they're expecting to find, uh, based on evidence they've seen in our solar system with a couple of out of planetary bodily uh, objects out there. We have a lot of different stuff in our solar system that's satellites that go around our little neighborhood of the universe, and something is affecting 6 of them in their orbits, and there's something tugging at them. So they're, as far as they can tell, this is just again a hypothesis that there's something out there that's affecting them. Now, they're not saying it's for definite that that's true. That's just a hypothesis right now, because the chances right now of this being something that just happened naturally with all 6 of these specific objects is 0.007%, which is extremely minute. However, it has been the case in the past that something around that same percentage that people thought, no, this had to have happened because of this, and had a hypothesis made up, turned out to not be true, and it turned out to just be happenstance. It just happened that way. It happened naturally without any other forces acting on it. So while it's extremely unlikely that these 6 heavenly bodies are going around the sun in these patterns and being affected the way they are just by sheer natural forces that doesn't include a ninth planet, it doesn't mean that's not the case. It's very possible that nothing's affecting them if there's no planet out there. But I'm optimistic, and I would love to see a ninth planet added back on, because we had to lose ours. What I find so entertaining, though, is that the 2 people that are that put forth this hypothesis based on models are very interesting people. One of them is actually Michael Brown. Now, who is Michael Brown? I'm sure some of you are asking. Well, he is the man that was leading the charge that ended up demoting Pluto from the ninth planet status. Yes, the man that helped kill Pluto is one of the people that is saying, hey, we think we found a ninth planet. I find this just such a sweet bit of, I don't know, fate. I don't know. Maybe irony may not be the right word, but it's mind blowing that if this happens, if this is true, that the same man that people have been going after for killing Pluto is the person that's going to bring about a new planet. And it's not just him. There's another gentleman in this as well, and sorry if I completely screw up his name. I'm going to read it here. Konstantin Batygin. I think that's right. And he's a Russian. He's a Russian American. He was born in Moscow. And so this is a kind of interesting, like, uh, international kind of workup between two people from Caltech. And the fact that one of them was the person that was more or less at the spearhead of the kill Pluto thing is just amusing. I love it. And I really hope it's true. Now, what I don't find funny is the placeholder names that these two are using when they talk about the planet. One of the names they're using is George. I don't know why. That just Planet George. I don't know. There's better placeholder names out there. And the other one they're using is Jehoshaphat. No. So, as with anything that comes up with planets in the solar system, whenever there's a new planet that people talk about, everybody has the whole Planet X thing from so many years ago, and there was always the possibility of another planet, and everybody had that hype. There was always this hype of finding a new planet. We're going to find a new planet out there beyond Pluto. And the one thing that always comes up when you're going for a new planet is, well, what are we going to name it? Well, the way our solar system has worked as far as our naming of them, of the planets, is that it's always been Roman gods. Now, while I do prefer Greek god names, as they're a lot more, I think, have a lot more oomph to them, I'm fine with the Roman names. It's fine. I know that people are looking out, and there have been some suggestions for what some scientists might want to call the planet. I've heard Hades thrown around, which, I mean, it would make sense because it's cold and way out there. But we already had Pluto. Here's the reason that's a problem. Hades isn't a Roman god. Pluto is a Roman god, and Pluto is the Roman version of Hades. So basically, we'd have two planetary bodies in the solar system. That's the same person, the same mythological being, and that's just weird to me. And I don't really like the idea. So I would really hope they don't go that route. Uh, there's a couple of others out there that were kind of hard for me to pronounce. I'm horrible at some of these old names. But there's one bouncing around that I like, actually, and I think would be a perfect choice, and that is Nox. Now, Nox is the goddess of shadow and darkness, and I think that fits because this planet's so far out there we don't know if we can find it, and it goes so far out into the darkness of space while still being part of our solar system that, yeah, it's dark, it's out there, it's hidden, and that would be beautiful poetry, I think, just on a purely, I don't know, romanticized view of science and discovery, that it just fits really well. Not to mention, I think it rolls off the tongue really well when you're saying the planetary lineup. I mean, for the longest time, it was Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and those rolled well. Well, Pluto's gone, so now it just stops at Neptune. So if we add in Nox, it flows really well. I mean, let's try that one time. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Nox. I kind of like it. So if this planet exists, if it's out there, and I hope it is, I hope that they actually do pick the name Nox. I mean, it would be the second planet in our solar system to actually be named after a female goddess, which the only one we have is Venus. And I'm all for, people are going to be like, well, we need a feminine name. And I'm like, I can kind of agree to that because it's a sausage fest in our solar system as it is right now. And I think Nox fits as far as just easy to pronounce, easy to remember, because we have to remember, people are stupid. And I can kind of agree with that thought process. A lot of people are very stupid. I mean, they're Trump supporters out there. So, And I think a 3-letter word would be great for them. But I think it just rolls off the tongue better. It fits kind of the characteristic that we're putting for this planet. And it's really interesting to think about. And what is so mind-blowing is that this single planet in one orbit around the sun, as of right now, if it exists, it would have been in orbit the entirety of human written history. I mean, think about that. Its orbit, if it is only 10,000 years, still supersedes a lot of written history of, of the human race. And that if it's actually 20,000 years, or at least 15,000 years, somewhere in between there, then it's superseded written history as far as we know. And that's just mind-boggling and so interesting. Because if you look at Neptune, I believe it's 260 years for one full orbit around the sun for Neptune. And this thing is farther out there than that. And the orbit is so much longer. And it's just such an exciting time. I mean, I was alive for the death of Pluto as a planet. And it would be amazing to be around when there actually was the discovery of Planet X, the 10th planet. And it's, our new 9th planet. It would be amazing, and I hope it's true. They're hoping to actually have information on this, to have found it within the next 5 years. So I hope that down in Hawaii, they're using one of the most powerful telescopes on the planet. It's in Hawaii. They're going to start using it here soon to search for it based on the predicted pattern. So let's hope they find it. I really hope they do. I'm excited for this. Moving on to another bit of news that I find very exciting, and this is just on a personal level, and that is Azumanga is coming back to North American shores. What do I mean by this? Well, for those that don't know, Azumanga was a slice of life comedy anime that happened back in the early 2000s. The last legal releases of Azumanga were in 2005 and 2006. For nearly a decade, for over 10 years now, almost, there have been no legal releases of Azumanga here in the US. It has been out of print. There has been no way to legally get it outside of secondhand. And there's no way to watch it online. There's no streaming services that had the license or the rights to stream it. However, Sentai Filmworks acquired the license and will be releasing it this May. And when it releases this May, it's going to be part of the new Sentai Selects line. So I'm actually really kind of excited for this because it's one of my favorite anime, and I love it. It is actually where my measuring stick for slice of life is when it comes to anime. I watched it back in the day. I was in my senior year of high school when I really got a chance to watch it because they'd had it on demand on some anime networks. And yeah, I fell in love with it. I loved all the characters. I loved the jokes. It was just so off the wall, insanely funny for me. And I'm really looking forward to getting the chance to purchase it because I never had the chance. Because back in the day, anime wasn't exactly cheap. I mean, sure, now it's still kind of pricey, though to be fair, compared to how much anime costs in the Japanese market for Blu-rays and stuff like that. Yeah, we get a damn good deal nowadays. But back in the day, it used to be, you want these 3 episodes of this anime, these 4 or 5 episodes, you better cough up $30, $40 for 3 or 4 episodes. Kids today don't understand that kind of struggle of being a poor kid who liked anime. And you could barely ever buy it. In fact, I don't remember ever buying anime as a kid unless I got it cheap or used from like FYE or something. But this excites me because I was never able to purchase this. The DVDs from 2005 and 2006, the collector's sets and all that stuff, the box sets, are expensive now. They can run upwards of $100, $200, $300. It's insane. So this makes me very happy that it's being released here again. And I really hope that if you are a fan of anime, if you love slice of life anime, or if you're a fan of Azumanga Daioh but don't own it, that you go out and you buy it when it comes out in May. I don't care if it's $30, $40, $50. I'm personally going to buy it because I want to support this anime. And I don't want to see it go away again. I'm excited for that. And that's the only way to really show your support anymore for anime is you've got to go out and purchase. Now, that doesn't mean you have to purchase any anime per se. You can always purchase, different items. You can purchase, the CDs for the soundtrack that exist. You can get those online or from overseas and stuff like that and import. You can get toys or clothes or, other little knick-knack kind of things for them, statues, whatever. So there's other ways to support anime, but one of the ways outside of that, do your streams. Crunchyroll and Hulu, they do anime. Pay there, watch their stuff. The money they make there supports those creators, and that's great. And I plan on supporting, Sentai Filmworks on this matter for sure. And there's a couple of other series that they've got licensed that they're going to be releasing at some point here soon. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, but I'm definitely getting this. I am so excited for this. Again, one of my favorite anime of all time. And I cannot wait to see the 6 completely crazy girls going back out there and all their crazy stuff because it's been so long. I actually have the manga. I have the entire series of manga, but I want to actually watch it so I can share it with my kids. I think they'll enjoy it. And in regards to watching the Japanese dub, or I'm sorry, whether you're watching the original Japanese voice work or you're watching the American English dub, it doesn't matter. It does not matter because they're both fantastic. So whatever you choose, it's going to have both the Japanese audio and the English audio. So whoever you want to watch it, subs or dubs, doesn't matter. This one goes for both. So I highly recommend you get this. It gives my stamp of approval. So May, it's coming out. Keep an eye out. And on to the final bit of news I want to talk about today. And I know I said this was going to be all happy stuff, exciting stuff. Well, this is exciting news. Whether it's happy news or not really depends on the person, I guess. I'm not saying I'm happy with this, but I'm not upset with it either. It's kind of a bittersweet kind of deal, I guess. But as of today, Stephen Moffat will be stepping down as the showrunner of Doctor Who as of the conclusion of Series 10 this year. So Series 10, that comes out later this year, hopefully. You never know with Doctor Who. Will be his final season as the head cheese, as the guy in charge, and he will be stepping down. So this brings to an end, a 5-year run. Well, give or take. I mean, he's been running the show since Series 5, which was in 2010. So I guess it's been 6 years. This makes 6 years this year once this concludes. So, that's a big deal because Modern Who has only been going on since 2005. So it's just been over 10 years. And this will be the 11th year and the 10th series. And there's only been 2 showrunners since it's come back. And Doctor Who's gone through its showrunners over the years, good and bad. When it comes to Moffat, he's pretty polarizing. There are people that absolutely love everything Moffat does, and there are people that absolutely hate everything Moffat does. I fall in the middle. I see where, excuse me, Moffat's credits are as positives because he has written some of the best stories in the history of Doctor Who. I mean, if you go back even to the Russell T Davies era, there were, fantastic episodes. I mean, seriously, The Empty Child, The Doctor Dances, Girl in the Fireplace, Blink, The 11th Hour, The Time of the Angels, and Flesh and Stone. I mean, there's so many fantastic stories that exist for no other reason than Moffat wrote it. And sure, there were other people that helped on it, whittle it down, what have you. I'm not saying Moffat is great at everything, but he has written some of the best episodes that the modern series has to date. He has also kind of helped written some of the worst ones. Death in Heaven was a disappointment. Dark Water was a great start, but Time Heist was kind of a mixed bag. I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with Moffat leaving because I understand it's his time. He's been on the series for a long time as a writer and then as the executive producer and showrunner. So it's time, and I get it, and I'm fine with it. So while I may be critical of certain things he's done, when it comes to certain companions he's had put on, like I wasn't a big fan of Clara after Smith left. I didn't like her time with the 12th Doctor much, at least in their first series together. This last year with Series 9 was a big improvement. and it made me hate Clara a lot less, and it helped that they got rid of Danny Pink and got that whole thing about her love life to the wayside and got rid of it, because that dragged down Series 8 so much, and it aggravated me because I love Doctor Who, and to see the series get dragged down that much by such an albatross of a storyline pissed me off. So that was a big problem. There was the show focused in Series 8 and Clara in Season 8 in Series 8. Uh, Moffat has a bad tendency to not be able to do story arcs well when it comes to conclusions. He can do good story arcs and make them interesting and keep you enthralled, but sometimes, most of the time, he kind of drops the ball when it comes to the conclusions. I mean, you know, not always that great. I'm just being honest there. But I think he's done a good job overall. I appreciate the effort he put in and what he did for the series. I mean, he was the one that made the choices for the 11th, 12th Doctor, who they were going to be. He was the one that helped mold these characters. He was the one that, brought in some of the better companions for the series. I mean, I'm a sucker for the Amy and Rory days. I like having River around. I don't hate River's song. I understand why some people might hate the character, or at least the way she's used, but I like River. And Clara's side, he's done a pretty decent job when it comes to companions. Doctors, hands down, he picked 2 fantastic doctors and helped mold great stories around them. So, you know what? Moffat's been fantastic. I'm going to miss you, and I wish you a lot of luck on Sherlock and other future works. But that's not the end of the Doctor Who news, because to replace Stephen Moffat, we have Chris Chibnall. And Chris Chibnall is the guy that's been running Broadchurch, which is another series going on right now. And from what I've heard, it's a good series. I really do need to check it out. But he's a big fan of Doctor Who. Plus, I love it when people that actually want to run these shows do it because they love the series. So I'm excited to see what Series 11 will bring. Whether that's going to be we don't know for sure anything yet when it comes to Peter Capaldi, because there's been rumor going around for a while that Series 10 will be his last season too. Maybe for health reasons and time constraints, stuff like that. I don't know. Again, those are rumors. Nothing verified on that yet. I personally really hope he stays around. I think the 12th Doctor is one of the best Doctors they could have created for the modern era, because he's a throwback. He's a very interesting Doctor. He's still kind of dark. And they started showing his playful side a lot more now. He was always a dark, brooding, serious Doctor in 8, which was fine because he was always kind of the negative person there. And then you get to 9, he's a lot more positive and fun and asinine, and I love it because he's a jerk. He's a lovable jerk, and that's great. And I hope he stays around for as long as possible. I hope he stays in through Series 11. I know that it's not a bad idea for a new showrunner to come in and get to make their own Doctor. That's great. But I really want to see Capaldi stay longer. And then, Chris Chibnall kind of have an already existing Doctor to help write stories about, to kind of ease him into writing for Doctor Who, because Broadchurch and Doctor Who are completely different series, completely different structures on narrative, and as far as executing storylines and character development. So I want to see him get his feet wet with the 12th Doctor, and then when it comes time to do the regeneration, because we know it's going to be coming in the next, at least the next couple of years, that when it does come time to bring about the 13th Doctor, that he will have already kind of settled into his position as a showrunner. So I don't want him to come in like Moffat did with his own Doctor and everything on his first series. I want him to kind of get a little bit more out there and finish out the 12th Doctor and then go into 13th. So here's to wishing good luck to Chris when it comes to his time in the big seat come Series 11, and a fond farewell to Stephen Moffat at the conclusion of Series 10. That's going to do it for this video. Like I said, it was just kind of a fun little rambling video talking about really awesome things for me. I'm going to try to do things like this a little more often when the fancy strikes. I don't know why when the fancy strikes. I don't know what I meant by that. I know what I meant by that, but it came out wrong. I don't know. So this isn't scripted. It's just something fun. So, yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe right down below here. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. Tell me what your opinions are of the news articles that I was just talking about. I'll leave links down below to the different articles. The one for Moffats on the BBC. I got the information about Osmagadayo from Crunchyroll, and Time did an article on the Planet Nine hypothesis. So you can look at all these down below. I'll leave links. And thanks for joining me. I hope to see you guys here again soon. In fact, you probably will be seeing me here soon because I'm going to be doing an unboxing. I know, I said I wasn't going to do another one this month, and I wasn't planning on it, but I had a request to do one more loot crate. Since I got one more before I could get my cancellation in, they still had the January one coming to me, and it came in, so I have it. I'm going to do an unboxing of it, and it's the Invasion crate. So this will be my final loot crate video coming up here soon. So thanks for joining me. Look forward to it. I'll hopefully have it up in the next few days. So thanks again, and as always, my name is Xandros, and please remember, stay awesome. Until next time.